President Biden arriving in Saudi Arabia, meeting with the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, and watch the fist bump greeting. Can we run it again?
It's another league, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
And Trump doesn't give a fist pump. I grabbed that hand. I don't give a hell where that hand's been. I grabbed that hand. Remember Biden? He travels for 20 hours, gets out, and he gives a fist bump. No. When you get out of the plane and you got the future king and the man who's one of the most respected people in the world, you shake his hand. You don't give him a fist bump, right? We don't want to ask you about that, but... But I just want to say it's an honor to be your friend, and it's an honor that you're here. And if you'd like to say a few words, but thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This relation has been a relation for about 9 decades, and we've been working together for a long time. But today it's a very important time in our history, because there is also a lot of things that we're working on in the future. We believe in the future of the United States of America. We believe in what you're doing, Mr. President. It's really creating a lot of good things and good foundation to create more economic growth, more business in America. And it will also your work for the world peace. I believe, Mr. President, today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in rare earth materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the $600 billion will be $1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing, it will facilitate that.
I like that very much.
He works hard.
No, that's great. I appreciate that. That's great. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever done. And in all fairness, if you didn't see potential in the U.S., you wouldn't be doing that.
Definitely.
You don't want to lose money.
As you said, Mr. President, it's the most hottest country in the planet. But what you're creating is not about opportunity today. It's about also long-term opportunity in the United States of America that will affect American economy positively in the next coming decades, preparing the right foundation of emerging technologies. That's a game changer for America in a good way, and we want to be part of it.
Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president, is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you?
Who are you with?
And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the
But
worst.
the question is
One of the
legitimate,
worst
sir.
in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
To the US, and there was a testy exchange at the White House this morning that has been leading our bulletins. But aside from that, a deal was done in Washington this morning. A promise from Saudi Arabia to invest up to $1 trillion in the American economy, with the US willing to sell their prized F-35 fighter jets. But some American defence officials have raised concerns about the sale, considered the most advanced fighter jet in the world. Joining us live now, Bradley Bowman, the Senior Director at the Foundation for the Defence of Democracies. Bradley, good to see you this morning. So what's your view on this? Should those jets be sold?
Yeah, in my view, there are at least three questions or issues that need to be resolved before the first F-35 arrives in Riyadh. And the first is some questions related to China. Your viewers will know that China represents the leading adversary of the United States and is preparing its military forces for a potential war with the U.S. in the Pacific. And yet we have Saudi Arabia, who undoubtedly is a valuable security partner for Washington and is working with us to develop a regional security architecture that has at times had a troubling relationship with China. In fact, we saw a Saudi-Chinese naval exercise just last month. That's not exactly a good look for a country that wants America's most advanced fighter. And we have public reporting well documented of cooperation between China and Saudi Arabia on their ballistic missiles. So those are some things that need to be resolved, and we need to be confident that the technology associated with the F-35 would not find its way to China and be used against American forces and the more than 19 other countries that also have the F-35. And there's also issues related to Israel's qualitative military edge and whether we should transfer our most advanced fighter to Saudi Arabia while it's still refusing to normalize relations with Israel.
Well, just on Israel, how would they be feeling about this sale?
I think Israel is more concerned about the transfer of the F-35 to Turkey, but there are also some concerns related to Saudi Arabia, namely Israel maintaining its qualitative military edge, and maybe that this is an example of the president giving up leverage. I mean, he has leverage with the F-35 to encourage Riyadh to normalize relations, and if you say you're going to sell it with no conditions, then it might be undercutting the president's own position. What's
the appeal for the Americans in shifting the F-35s then?
You know, the American interest here, I said they're an important security partner. That's not a vacuous talking point. I mean it. You know, if we have interest in the Middle East, either we defend them ourselves or we work with partners to help defend common interests and counter common adversaries. The Saudis are an important partner. We want to build a regional security architecture with them focused on air and missile defense and intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and maritime security. And if they're going to do that, if they're going to work with us in that way, then they need to have the best equipment. And if it's American equipment, all the better, because we can integrate it more effectively together. So there's a national security argument for this if we can trust them with the technology and if we respect U.S. law. QME, it's not an option. It's the U.S. law, and it's been the law for decades. So if we're going to transfer our best fighter, we have to make sure that Israel maintains its relative military advantage, and that's codified in the law, that idea of it being a relative comparison.
All right, just as an aside to that, because I mean, I feel like the press conference was hijacked by one or two questions from America's ABC network. One of them relates to the Crown Prince and his involvement in the late Jamal Khashoggi. What did you make of the Crown Prince kind of batting that question away, Bradley?
Well, you know, I hope no one was surprised by that question. I mean, that's one of the most obvious questions that any reporter would ask. And I frankly thought that the president's response was deeply unfortunate, deeply troubling. Frankly, something you'd never want to hear a president of the United States say. He suggested the issue is whether the journalist was liked or not liked. I'm more with the fact that he was a human being, he was murdered, and you should have started with that.
As for the Crown Prince, I mean, I'm sure the Crown Prince would have been ready for a question, right? I mean, was it a standard response, a standard defense from his part?
Though the Crown Prince, once he spoke following the president's comment, was more measured. He actually said that they had conducted an investigation and that he didn't want to see it happen again. Of course, the U.S. intelligence community assessed that the Crown Prince ordered it, a charge that the Crown Prince has denied.
He has. Bradley, good to have you with us this morning. Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.